have prehensile tongues, and that is just the grossest thing in the world to me. I hate it. Spicy amigos. That's good stuff.
I'll do a haul. So we got some shit. It's a little elephant. It's Pikachu, very famous. This is Bulbasaur. I don't really know what he is. I got pink hair.
Joystick in. Is there a data port where I can reprogram the music? So I spent about 5 years with this machine in the old building that I was working at, and would do late night builds until like 2, 3 in the morning, and the whole warehouse was silent, and you could just hear this thing, because it was kept on all the time, would just be hauntingly playing music from across the building. So if I never have to hear it again, I'll be happy.
If you re-record the music, you should just do it a cappella, just like that.
Just like that. Oh, not 1, not 2, but 3 owner's manuals. Why? Because in case you'll lose the first 2. Yeah, that's what I needed, baby. I'm looking at that giant circuit board and just going, man, oh man, do I want to play with it, but I can't right now. I can't budget time for it. This is just a giant shiny object that is distracting me right now. Oh boy. Yep, so it'll take money. It will definitely take money. That's my biggest concern, is stepping into that quagmire of, well, this is at its nature a rigged game, and I don't want it to be.
Well, it's one of those things where we've been handed something that is a proven revenue driver because it is inherently unethical.
Yes.
And it's a cool thing, and we want to use it. How do we use it ethically?
I think we have to put stuff in there that is desirable to the patrons, and for the most part stock it with stuff that is just stuff that's cheap for us to make but cool. We can, and has value within the war relationship.
Tried to pump like $2 or $3 into it, but he's not having it. I watched your guys' rough cut of us getting the claw machines, and everyone's been telling me, oh, you're very funny, your quip at the end about getting your $3 in quarters back. I really want those quarters back. That wasn't a joke. There it is. Did any of you like these? I'm told they have no cash value. Ooh, that's just actual money. Oh, yeah. Put that back in there. So yeah, got the $3 back. Actually, I think I walked away with $2 more.
I am copying everything that's been put onto this whiteboard. I also have digital photos of all of this, but it is nice to have just a file folder full of sketches and solution sets on hand in a hard copy form in case, phone goes dead in the middle of reconstructing a puzzle or something. So this is a puzzle we're calling the star map. There is basically it's a coordinate system. This will just be a 6 foot by 6 foot wall of stars that will have just a little lattice work on top of it. So everything's divided into foot by foot grids, and there will be a grill cipher. And it's a big piece of wood that they'll take out and have handles to it, and they'll have to slot it into any of these squares. But depending on how they orient the piece, it might give them a different set of stars that show through the thing. We want them to care about that. We want them to get 3 sets of coordinates. Star map. It's gamed out. Figured it out. I just sort of did a random assortment after I selected my correct ones, and none of them popped up again, just because the math just works out. It's too difficult to recreate them if you're just sort of doing them randomly. You wouldn't think so. You think, okay, I've only got a 4x4 grid, a dot is either on or off, but it's a ridiculous amount of combinations you can do. Math is cool. Which is something I wish I had figured out in 8th grade. It would have made my school life a lot better. But yeah, that's the math on that one. Okay, so here's my question. It's a giant paint job. It's a mural.
Yeah, it's a mural.
So in that case, what does that look like? Is it more of a cartographical map? Like, is it blue, like dark blues and swirls and
my first sort of thing is to lean into the hermetics part of it, in where it's flat and everything's a little distorted.
Yeah.
But it's like make the map itself an artifact and print it on canvas, and then the grill or the stuff goes on top.
There is something that for this scale, I don't know, a giant canvas print is going to feel artificial to me. So all of the puzzles need to come from a narrative place that makes sense. So they have to be, the character has to be considered who made this thing, why did they make it, in what context, when was it made compared to what's made around it.
Is this just his notes, or is this an already existing artifact?
I thought that this is him mapping out the star rift that is right to the right of them.
All right,
or to the left. It's like that was always the justification for me. The rift opened, and amongst everything else, he's been peering into it and trying to map out the star constellations because they're constellations.
So that informs the aesthetic. It's a technical drawing.
Don't want it to be like a blueprint. Like I don't want it to. I really don't.
It's at this point we're finding aesthetics or finding style pieces.
Yeah. Well, I'm just wondering if we go one direction or another, does that change the way, for example, the grill cipher needs to be made?
Right.
The whole thing is like one interconnected, intricate piece. So if we decide to change the parameters of one puzzle, that might affect 4 other things, right? If this puzzle now requires a new object to be used to unlock it, okay, well that means the thing that I made to hide this piece earlier on, that doesn't work anymore. Now I've got to recreate that. If I'm recreating that, then what are the interactables that are used to unlock that thing? Do those need to be recontextualized? Probably, but it's just one of those things where we go, oh, it would make a cooler moment. Now we're gonna do it. Like I want to make them now, and I want to make the moments cool. So we're not gonna. I don't want to cut corners on craft or storytelling. If there's a clear choice that can be made, that we can make happen. We're always crimping here. It ain't easy. But we do it anyway. Real players. Gotta stop. Gotta stop. Later on, I'll show you my crimp walk. Stop it. I'm having a weird day. Having a weird day. I don't know if you can tell. Blame the duck. No. Yeah, it's the duck's fault. It's always the duck's fault. Backside. That's easy enough. But I can only do that trick once. I only got 2 sides of the board, buddy. So how do I get you over here? I don't. I have to jump it with wires, don't I? we're starting on the internal for the dollhouse puzzling. The problem that I'm having right now is I have too many things for the microcontrollers to provide power for. Do you know what I hate doing? What I think? I hate jumping wires. Okay, so water chasing with that. Which means these power breakouts are wrong. This is the unsung hero of the Doors of Divergence development process. So there is a term in programming called rubber duck debugging. And the theory is that if you cannot figure out what is going on with your code, you get a little inanimate object. The general consensus is a rubber duck works, and you just go through the code line by line, explaining it to the duck. Eventually, as you read through the code, explaining what the code does, you will hit a snag and realize, that's where my problem is. But at the end of the day, it just helps having someone else in the room, even if that someone is incapable of talking back to you. So, in fact, sometimes that's better. Yeah.
We just talk to whatever we're working on, so it's kind of it's not that crazy.
Duck's better.
Okay, well, excuse us. If I had a duck, I'd talk to the duck. But yeah, you know, keep things interesting.
When it talks back, that's the issue.
Hasn't happened yet.
I think
But
it
you never
has
know.
for him, though.
Yeah, I think when he talks to it, I think he hears
That
him.
could work. You could run a wire from here into a DuPont connector and then put that into a board there. Do I need a board then? Okay. Yeah, the duck told me to go back to our old friend, these lever lock nuts. It's gonna be a mess, but that's okay, because once it's done, this just gets another panel locked up on top of it, and until the thing breaks, I don't have to worry about it again. So it's great. Yeah, for technical stuff, I find that nobody else in the building really wants to hear me rant about wirings and connection points and whatnot. So, hence the Goose Buster.
Oh yeah, duck's definitely
But
haunted.
duck is totally haunted.
Duck's definitely haunted.
Have
That's
you
why we
seen this
kept it in
place?
here.
It's totally haunted.
You never quite know where it's gonna be next. Tends to follow wherever Christian is, but maybe he's possessed by the duck.
Ain't afraid of no goose. Alright, just up line with that goblet. Something's missing. Something is missing. Where are the masks? Eee. There they are. Ooh.
Gotta cover your 4 food groups here, which is salty, sweet, caffeine, and I think
More caffeine.
more caffeine.
Yeah,
Man.
that's the fourth one. Caffeine and more caffeine.
Don't shoot this, I always fuck it up. 31 years on this planet and I still don't know how to open a fucking box.
It is unfortunate, given, as we have said multiple times,
Yeah.
pretty much everything about this process is boxes.
Yeah.
Building boxes,
Put a box
opening
in another box.
boxes, breaking down boxes, putting things in boxes, putting other boxes inside of other
See,
boxes.
that's why I'm qualified to
Locking
render my
boxes.
opinion on this. As someone who's bad at opening boxes, I want to build
A better box. Today we are filming our in-game assets for the first 2 shows. Ties to choose from. Because we are going to have rotating actors, so those faces can change every time a player plays, we do need standard stock characters that sort of tell the full narrative. So the way we're doing that is by filming these in-game assets. And action.
My elixir engine spiked, reacting with the Pandora stone and blowing a hole in my wall, and beyond it, an abyss into space I cannot begin to fathom. Time is running out. I believe the elders are beginning to suspect me of heresy.
Cool. Yeah. You have any notes on that, Zach?
That's good.
No? I think that's all of it.
I'm Dick Terhune, and I play Edmund Kavanaugh. Edmund is one of those classic tortured Victorian geniuses who unfortunately believes that he is absolutely right.
So he is sort of the main character. Players go in trying to discover what he's been up to and dealing with the fallout from his misdeeds.
He seeks an end which on the surface sounds really great. He wants to restore his wife to life and or cure his ailing son. But either one of those choices requires a lot of dark choices be made. And that's where the fun begins.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh,
That's
got
a big chunk.
That's a clot.
Yeah.
We got a clot going there.
Yeah.
All right, so is that looking good from the outside?
And then I need to drip through your fingers a little bit more. Go, actually, squeeze it. This is a family show. Who's fucking family?
Yeah, she took some.
Yeah.
She took some. Okay.
Cool. All right, yeah. Whenever you're ready, just yeah, we're
You're
rolling.
sure you're rolling?
We are rolling.
Okay, all right, here we go.
Awesome. There we go. That's a cut. Now to the next one.
This is the fun stuff. What we're creating with this particular form of entertainment is a multiverse. Depending on which choices you make at the beginning of this game, that's the story that plays out. And if you get to the end and you say, I wonder what would have happened if, you can go back, rewrite the chapter, and do the other story. That's the beauty of this form of thing.
Yeah, perfect. Love it. That's a wrap on Dick. Hey! Everyone doesn't blood over their hands. Clap. Just a fun day of filming. No actors were harmed in the production of this film. Why would you say that? Of course they weren't. Shut up. Come for you next, you shaved anything. I've got a new prop that I want to get a code written for. But it's going to use a new type of control chip and a different sort of programming protocol. So we're going to be playing with these. Yep.
Oh my
4-channel.
Tiny.
Yep, it's so tiny.
It's like a cereal flake.
Mm-hmm.
Like something that you would get in like a bowl of Lucky Charms or something. It's like, well, I better get that.
Yeah. All right, I believe this is newest version of code here.
Sick.
Right? Doesn't it look so much good, better?
Imagine, like, 40 years ago, this thing wouldn't just be like, this would be like inset in a wall, and there would be a whole room behind it.
Oh yeah.
To do what this is doing.
Yep.
And now it's just a board.
Yep. You have to go in from the back now. I short up the sides and top, so.
Lighten up. When the program runs normally, you'll get these lights up at the top here, right? They kind of like line up. And then what's supposed to happen after that is that a light will come up from the bottom and go into one of these tracks. And that's depending on the position of these switches. I call these movement things particles, like particle effects. It's basically an animation that runs.
Yeah.
It's not working. I am so confused as to what would have caused the LEDs not to show up.
I don't know either. It's
gonna
just
figure
not
it out.
like it's not. It does the opening signal and then it doesn't play the game.
The seat switch isn't being fickle, is it?
No, it's not. It's
That would also cause that same thing.
You know, it's solid. So I don't know. There's some just condition that's not getting met or something. I don't know.
The biggest things are never syntax errors, are they?
No, it's always the code works. you wrote the code correctly. It's just you didn't write it to do what you want it to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
All right. Put in a bunch of lines to tell me some things. Hopefully they'll tell me what I want to know. I'm gonna see if I can trigger this. So from that little test I ran, I got all these messages that are telling me that it is actually spawning the particle and that it is alive. Now I just gotta figure out why I can't see it. And then, you know, you just do this over and over again until you find what's not working. Ah! And I think I know where that problem is. It turns out that it's not moving. That would solve my problem. Hopefully you'll see it come up from the bottom right here. There it is. That was it all along. Turned out it was something very silly. It usually is. Hey Zach, tell Christian I solved it. We got it! Yeah. So my next problem is that I have to get these to light up at the right times. If you've ever tried to untangle a ball of yarn and you have one end of the string and you have to try and weave that back in, you follow the thread, pull out, see where it enters the knot and try and loosen it from there. And then eventually you start loosening that and then other threads connected to it, and then eventually you're able to get through this knot and pull the whole knot out. That is kind of like what finding a bug in coding like this is. You have to follow it down to exactly where it's coming from and then just fix the thread.
So behind me, they are setting up our showroom, which is basically our sample set of walls and floors. But the first thing we have to really do is test the plywood support that's going to go in place. The one concern we have had for a while has been the more pieces that the room is functionally in, the more stress points there are. And something that I will talk about over and over and over and over again is if a player in an escape room finds a stress point, they will push on it until it stresses and breaks. So that's the next test phase to determine whether or not this is going to hold. So it's going to be drywall floor to ceiling, but then plywood supports in strategic places, so we're not trying to fill the entire thing with plywood and decrease the weight a little bit, decrease the cost quite a bit, because obviously right now wood is at a premium. However, this ends up being almost doing a full board per wall anyway. So the question becomes, is this saving us any money? Because labor costs to cut as opposed to just do a single piece, it might end up being a wash. What we're going to try to do is see if on a standard 4-foot wall, if we can take out this middle piece and just have this all be void behind it. And with 1/2-inch drywall, we're going to lean against it quite heavily to see if it holds, or to see if we will inadvertently turn our players into the Kool-Aid Man and have them crash the walls. Yeah, you're right, it blows out. You want to go through a wall? Yeah, I kind of want to go through a wall.
Let's go through a wall.
Remember, everybody, this is incredibly dangerous and should never be attempted at home. However, we are being followed around by a camera crew, so we can do it.
For those of you watching at home, this is not how you escape the room. This is our job. Yeah! No, that was just my hands. Okay. Okay. Actually, not bad. All right. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. There we go. test results. That is strong enough to withstand a good amount of abuse. But if you're really trying to go through the wall, you can go right through the wall. So we're gonna,
Okay, Kyle.
yeah, we're gonna shore it up with plywood and mill.
I think we can reduce the size of that strip.
Yeah, I think so. As long as you have a simple system.
Yeah. Because you really had to fucking go at
I
it.
had to really go at that. Yeah.
Oh, fuck. That was stupid. That was just
Gratuitous and stupid. But now we know. Now we know you can go through the wall. If we get nothing else out of this other than just a various amount of slow-mo shots of me doing stupid shit, I'll be okay with it. Looking around the warehouse now, there is a sort of harmony. It is the harmony of an overwhelming and collective doubt. We, by comparison to the heat and stink of cacophony of this warehouse, in comparison to its decrepit largesse, we are simple and untested puzzles that come out of a stupid indoor activity book for babies. We don't ask the audience to engage in some paint-by-numbers mystery. We ask them to engage with something deeper, experience it on a more individual level, something that resonates with their very soul. You want locks? I'm not gonna give you fucking locks, you idiot. I'm gonna give you story. I'm going to give you the zeitgeist of a culture. And you're going to throw your head into the food slop bin, you hungry, hungry pig. Eat the escape room, devour it, and by the end, come back out and tell me how much you love it and that you're hungry for more. And I will serve you seconds if I feel like it.
Yes.
All right, you good now.
Well, we are in the process of moving wholesale an entire room. So this is the obelisk room, and we are going to put it on timbers and see if we can't roll the entire thing from one side of the building to the other. Because we want to stress test the limits of this thing's modularity and mobility. We haven't tested a fully furnished room move yet, so this is essentially a dry run. Or a drywall run, I suppose you could say. Ah! Every day. No, I'm sorry. Not sorry at all.
All right, we're gonna need everybody. One, two, three, push.
The room survived. Yes, it did.
Yeah. Beautiful thing that can be done.
It can be done.
I'd say never again, but we all.
We know we're gonna.
Now we gotta put it back.